Hold on, hold on, hold on. What's going on here tonight? Place going to get mashed up. Eh? Oh, them find it? The flash drive. We vote in TPP. Not that 1% party. Hey. Can't put me in slavery. Hey, hey, hey. We vote in TPP. All my people jumping because the election morning is TPP. We voting cause we crabbing and barring. Gas price is rising, salary not changing. We fed up at the same thing. Copy and empty chief in store. Cut them out. All you playing crazy over. Hey, hey. All you feel is stupid over. Hey, like crabbing barrel over. Over. Hey, 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 hey. All my people hands up. Hands up. People hands up. Pull up, people. Pull up, 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 pull up. Somebody say order. Somebody say fire. We vote in TPP. Oh, not that 1% party. Oh, hey, can't put me in slavery. Never. We vote in TPP. All my people jumping cause from election morning it's TPP we voting. Hey, gas price keep rising, but salary not changing. We fed up at the same thing, copy and empty thieving. So, hey, all you play crazy over. Hey, all you feel is stupid over. Hey, like crabbing barrel over. All my people hands up, people. Hands up, all my people hands up. TPP people hands up. Put them up, 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 right up, 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 up. This is a thing, is a serious thing. So we not voting. No. Open for the guns and drinks for the guns and drinks for the guns and drinks. What's going on? Yeah, this is a thing, is a serious thing. Says Short Young said we're not voting him. All fine? Alright, well, squeeze it. Since all you find it. Run that one. Hey, so people hands up, all my people hands up, TPP people hands up, put them up, right up, up, right up. We vote in TPP, not that 1% party. Can't vote in TPP, not that vote in TPP. Come on for this, something for the West. Hey, TPP is the best. Something for the rest. TPP is the best. Why? Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. That's not going to find it, sir. That's it? That is him, sir? TPP people, good night. I'm out. Love you.
Thank you, Culture B. Brothers and sisters, at this time, to talk to us, it is usually said wise people come from the east, but they oftentimes come to settle in the west. I asked to come to talk to us now the candidate for the Tobago People's Party for the constituency of Tobago East. Welcome, David Joseph Thomas Tomo!
Nothing must stop you. Satan may attack you. Yes. When God bless a man, Good night to Plymouth. Good night to the TPP membership. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your candidate for Tobago East in the person of David Joseph Thomas. Permit me to honor the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly in his absence, Fali Chavez Augustine. Let me also recognize all the deputy political leaders of the party, all the assemblymen and assistant and councillors, the executive of the Tobago People's Party, you wonderful members of the party, and all the people that are listening to us all over the world. We have a brand that nobody would be able to cut down. We have a brand. Even the people on the opposite side, they said the blue have it, and we agree with them. So we are going to set the stage for good governance. We're going to set the stage for great representation, and we are going to set the stage to create an environment in Tobago where we make sure that this island becomes the greatest little island on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to speak to you about three very, very critical things tonight. One of them is passion. The other is security. And the third thing I'm going to speak to you about is safety. Now, there are many persons who decide that they would do things in life. And I want you to understand me well. We have an island that was starved for many, many, many years for proper representation. And I want to put it to you tonight that that happened because those who served us did not serve us with passion. Ladies and gentlemen, you must understand what passion means. Passion means not just service, but quality service. Passion means going beyond the call of duty. Passion means dedication. Passion means devotedness. And the people of Tobago deserve leaders and representation that lead with passion. Now, if you look carefully at the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago, you would remember that in 2024, Tobago recorded 24 murders. So there was pain in the land. And I don't know anybody who feels pain and forget it. I don't know anybody that feels pain and does nothing about it to make sure that the pain does not continue. I don't know anybody, even mothers, after a while, say, I have enough of that pain. But we have felt a pain and we are about to revolutionize. Because we now have leaders that will go to the parliament and represent you with passion. Never lose the opportunity to do your best for you. And you have started in the right direction when you chose Joel Nutsi Sampson to represent you in the West. And when you chose David Joseph Thomas to represent you in the East, let me tell you, look at our landscape. Look at Tobago. Look at our security. Do you know that not so long ago, a few days ago, there was a fire at the library in Scarborough. And I will tell you tonight, the first response to that fire came out of Roxborough Fire Station. Nobody that is on the other side of us down the road cares about us far more to consider treating us with the love and passion that we deserve. When you see things like that happening in your system or in your surroundings, there is need for much concern. It means that you have no representation. And it's time that we rewrite the script. It's time we stand up and make sure not only that Tobago gets the representation that it needs, but also that it gets the resources to make sure that you get the coverage, the support, and the security that you need. Ladies and gentlemen, if you follow the annals of history, you would hear or you would recognize that a former Minister of National Security said that the government was fully aware that even illegal ports of entry, including the airports, is where illegal drugs and guns are transshipped. What did he do about it? I'm not hearing you. What did he do about it? So it tells you that he does not have the passion to ensure that he takes care of Tobago. And the aftermath of those 24 murders, I would imagine that there would have been systems set up to ensure that the trend does not continue. I am still looking. Ladies and gentlemen, we must understand why nothing was done. Because my arithmetic is suggesting to me that the murders that occurred in Tobago did not reach the 4.03%. As a matter of fact, it is just about 3.21% of the murders that took place in Trinidad. So maybe if it had gone over the 4.03%, they would have taken action. But that is all right. You have people here now that would ensure that when we sit in the parliament, we will make the representation to ensure that we're not going to reach 3.21%. We're neither going to reach 4.03%. We would return to the glory days when Tobago recorded no murders. Ladies and gentlemen, security. If we are serious about building out the plan, now security, national security, is a 6 schedule items. They did not give it to us. And I'm telling you, it's better they give it to us because they just don't know how to manage that entity. Look at what is happening. We are facing serious degradation. And what is hurting me? You all would remember that the wisdom of our chief secretary allowed him to acquire vehicles to support the regiment. You would all remember that. It also led him to suggest that he would find adequate watercrafts to support the Coast Guard. All of a sudden, all the commentators in Trinidad knew that he was stepping out of his bounds. But I know my chief secretary well. He was trying to motivate action in these people. But they did not take the hint. They entered a mode of criticism and tried to tell him silently to mind his business. But I know he knows how to mind his business. That is why he knows when they are trying to hoodwink him. He is always on the ball. and he stands up when it is necessary. He remains silent when it's necessary. But trust me, when it comes to astute representation, he is the man. Not so long ago, you would well remember the former finance minister boasting that 4 scanners were bought to protect our ports. Do not allow yourself to not follow the current information. 4 scanners were bought to protect our ports. The bastard child, again, 2 were sent to Point Lisas, 2 were kept in Port of Spain. These people serious about security? You are seeing an upward trajectory in crime in Tobago. You said you understand that it comes to the legal ports, but it was not important to place at least one in the Port of Scarborough. And you call that representation. You call that good governance. You call that caring. But I have some news to them. The representation that would go to Parliament will not sit idly by and allow you to continue to treat us as a bastard child. That is no longer going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I take you down the lines of safety. We have quite a number of things in Tobago that is cause of great concern. And when we move from the Tobago space into the Trinidad space, there is even much more concern that we have in the Tobago space. In between 2010 and 2014, when Suraj Ratan Rambachan was Minister of Works, a tragedy occurred in the Sealots area where a family lost many of its members to a vehicular accident. And the outcry in Port of Spain was so great that the then Works Minister thought it fit to construct a walkover in that Sealots area. I am told that they don't use it, and the cost of that walkover was $13.9 million. Further, in 2022, a walkover was constructed in San Fernando to accommodate pedestrians as well. In the advent of the water taxi, a walkover was constructed closer to the Hyatt. And I'm told that when you enter, you are lifted by elevator onto that platform so you could make your way to your office to conduct work. But you know what is perennial and what is insulting to Tobagonians? We use the fast ferry. And every time we land in Port of Spain and we exit the port, we have that broad, treacherous road to cross. Is it that we are waiting until the lives of Tobagonians are destroyed on that roadway before we find it fit and we find Tobagonians valuable enough to also construct a walkover? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to put you on notice that Tobagonians will not suffer that when we are elected to office. Because where I stand, Tobagonians must get what they deserve. Tobagonians must be made to feel their true value. And we will not allow anybody, any system, to derail us or to cheat us out of what we truly deserve. Now, I am sorry for my counterparts or my challengers, although I know being sorry would not save them from losing their deposits. But sometimes you need to understand the space that they tread. They are victims of what you call the constitutional whip. The constitutional whip is that constitutional construct for collective responsibility. And that simply means that they are bound not only to follow cabinet decisions, but they had a big bad wolf who they couldn't afford to step out of line, as their pay packages would have been greatly reduced. But I'm going to tell you, because we understand our mission, we would not allow ourselves to be bounded by that. Because once you want us, as Tobagonians, to give you any level of support down the road, you will have to give Tobago what Tobago wants. I suspect greatly that when this election is over, we will have the bargaining chip. And when we have the bargaining chip, I'm not running to anybody, and I know Nutsi has testicular fortitude. He will not run to anybody as well. But the package they're coming with, let them make sure that is not a penny saver's hamper. Let them make sure that is not a Goldsboro hamper. Let them know and let them make up their minds to elevate Tobago to the next level. And maybe, just maybe, we are finished with that institutional dependency that they have been subjecting us to, living from pay package to pay package. We are about liberation, we are about elevation, and we are about making sure that the people of Tobago live the lives that they deserve. I am casting my bread upon the water because I know it will bring me back many folds over. So my choice to become involved in the fight, my choice to represent, is because I would lead with the passion that Tobago deserves, and I would be relenting in my approach to representation. I will ensure that when you see me on the street, you would say, Mr. Thomas, I believe you when you say that if you cut me, Tobago will run out of my veins. Because that is what you need. You have to feel it down in your loins. And you have to represent. Because everybody will continue to take us for granted and feel that we can be sold for a few pennies. Enough of that dotishness. We are going to represent and represent well. And I will tell you, I am no man that will stand on the fence. I make decisions and I stand by them. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am actually pleased to see all of you out here. And the fact that you're out here is because you want to be a part of this victorious movement. So when the 28th of January comes, make sure you go to the polls very early and vote for Joel Nutsi Sampson in the West, and vote for David Joseph Thomas in the East, because like it or not, Tobago must become the greatest little island on the planet. I thank you.
We David Joseph Thomas. Scarborough, let me see you. Let me see you, Scarborough. Let me see you, John Dial. Let me see you, Hope. Let me see you, Mount St. George. Goodwood, Goldsboro, Pembroke, Glamorgan, Richmond. Let's go up Bell Garden, Kendall, Argyle, Roxborough, Speyside, Tension, Betsy's Hope, Delaford, Speyside, Charlottesville, Lansbury, Castara, Palatuvia, Bloody Bay, Tobago East. The symbol is the anchor. The anchor on April 28th, 60,000 strong. Gundy for Gundy. Place your X next to the anchor and let Tobago be anchored once again in peace and in prosperity, good governance, representation at the national level, development, increased funding for Tobago. David Joseph Thomas is your candidate. Let me see you, Tobago East. Let me see you. Let me see you, Tobago East. Nice. The anchor holds. Tobago will be anchored on April 28th. At this time, I asked to come to talk to us the Assemblyman for Plymouth Black Rock, Assemblyman Niall George. Come, my brother.
Now I feel me need a key for the cities. One of the chain of them know who don't fit me. Kylie, it might be a 2 day could sit me. One time I never too care, but I'm up picking. Nobody judge me for me things because I know for you. They never tell you not to trouble when they're troubling you. Somebody couldn't tell you, say I swear of it.
I'd like to acknowledge the Honorable Chief Secretary, Farley Chavez Augustine, Deputy Chief Secretary, Faith Brebner, all other secretaries and assistant secretaries. I'd like to honor the chairman, Anne Natasha Second, all other executive members. I'd like to say good night to the viewing public. And last but not least, the great people of the District of Plymouth Black Rock that has reposed their confidence in me to represent them. Tonight, my job is a simple one. Tomo, I love you. I'm supporting you in the East because my father come from the East, I'm a man of the East as well. But you see my brother Joel, not see Samson, he's special. He dear to me. We came into the assembly together as assistant secretaries. We worked together before that in the Water and Sewage Authority. One of the best craftsmen in the whole country, Joel Nutsi Sampson. Wherever he goes, there is excellence. He comes into the assembly as an assistant secretary in the Division of Works. He takes over URP, and URP has worked like they have never worked before. Excellence once again from Joel Nutsi Sampson. He is then promoted to the secretary of the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport. Excellence again. And after the 28th of April 2025, when he walk into the halls of Parliament, we are expecting excellence again. Now, I walk into Hilltop, I go into Valley Bottom with Mr. Sampson. And that's my guess. That is because I have the confidence that when Mr. Sampson goes down to Parliament, the things that Tobagonians need, the serious and important issues that have been holding us back, that Mr. Sampson and Mr. Thomas both will see to it that these issues are attended to. They ain't taking no for answer, they're not no line to toe, and it's Tobago people business they go wrong let us see out, and it's Tobago people business they go deal with. Now, there are a few issues that we're sending them to see about, important issues. Firstly, the allocation that is given to the Tobago House of Assembly. Now, my back broad and others take licks. But you walk in your district and you're hearing 10 years this ain't happen, 12 years this ain't happen. And every year that passes that it ain't happen, it gets more and more expensive to deal with. But we have come into this assembly and we started with a development budget of $300 million, where we got an additional $100 million. And now that has been halved to $200 million. Tobagonians, what I'm saying to you all, let me walk the maths. As a mathsman, I just do that with my eyes closed. You have 9 divisions and $200 million. That is $22 million per division if they was paying the money on quarterly block. But we don't receive we monies on quarterly block. So at the end of the fiscal year, every year, our allocation is short. Shorter than it done, short already to start with. When Mr. Sampson and Mr. Thomas goes down to Trinidad, this is the first issue that they will deal with. Every year, 4.03 to 4.5. Tobago's population has risen from 4% of the national population to 5% of the national population. That is where we have to start, at 5%. Nothing less, else they can't come back here. I'm talking on behalf of Plymouth people, I'm talking on behalf of Black Rock people, I'm talking on behalf of Tobagonians. And I have all confidence that Mr. Sampson and Mr. Thomas will get us no less than 5% when they walk into the halls. Food security and cost of living. Tobagonians sitting on this island, we're seeing planned support in Togo. It are port in, container port in Point Lisas. We are container port in Port of Spain. Where we container port in Tobago, we're sitting on our lovely coastline seeing food going down the road, and we had to pay extra to bring it back to Tobago. You think that right? Do you think that right? And we have an ex-prime minister that all out there the duck pond, but they wouldn't upgrade it at all, at all, at all, at all. They want it to fly, but they don't want it to eat. We have a secretary of food security called Miss Natisha Charles-Pantin. She has been doing an excellent job in the division. And when I tell you about excellent, when I tell you about hard-working woman, but you know what her apply and her cry is? Lack of funding. When Nazi and Tomo go down the road, they're going to ensure that we get the allocation that is needed to boost our food security on this island. And we're looking at what's going on across the world. That is a very important thing. If you cannot feed your nation, you're in problems. That is task number 2 for Mr. Sampson and Mr. Thomas when they go down the road after the 28th of April. Public transport crisis. And let me don't get this twisted. Caribbean Airlines is a national carrier. They're using each and every one of us taxpayers' dollars to sit there. And as a Tobagonian, after 10 o'clock in the night, you're cut off from the mainland of Trinidad where most of the services are. They are not giving us any allocation so that we could set up these services. And after 10 o'clock in the night, they're cutting we off from them. That is a serious problem to me. You're going to Trinidad and Tobagonians have to sleep on the airport after carrying their loved ones to be taken care of in hospitals for programs and that are not available in Tobago. I'm saying to Tobagonians, we ain't taking that. And when we ain't taking that on the 28th of April, we're going out and show them we're not taking that. We're using these fingers to go out and show them that we're not taking that. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember having a conversation with Mr. Hotchroy Charles. May his soul rest in peace. He said to me, Mr. George, you're young and you're aspiring in politics. But there's something that each and every Tobagonian must understand. You see the 2 Tobago seats? That is Tobago power. And we must not give it away. And if you have looked at the history of Tobago, Tobago gains when our 2 seats are not in the hands of the PNM. So here what I'm saying to all you out there. We're going and take it back. We honor Mr. Charles and his word by taking back with power. And the power that we will have, we will repose it in Mr. Joel Nutsi Sampson and Mr. David Joseph Thomas to go down the road and argue for Tobago's fair share. Then bound to give we more than we fair share. What we want is our fair share. Now, this is not about me. This is about Mr. Sampson, so me ain't going long. Right? But before I go, I tell all about me and Matt. Right? I want you to understand how deceptive these people are. From 1956 to 2025, 15 of those years have been ruled by a party other than the PNM. Anybody who is around here find that makes sense? 15 out of 70 years. Somebody else rule. Well, here what I'm saying to you. They get 55 years and we ain't giving them no more. No. When you go to the polls and you think for 10 years they're offering you 4%, I want you to ram the X by the anchor. When you go and most of all, I want you to go there on the 28th and think about the fact that from the 29th of April, not only around election period, you're going to have 2 representatives that are going to be fighting for Tobago's autonomy, fighting to the end. I want you to ram the X by the anchor. Ram the X by Mr. Joel Marcus Sampson. Ram the X by Mr. David Joseph Thomas. And when you ram the X, you just know you're going to be ramming the X to make Tobago the greatest little island on the planet. I thank you.
And the angels are in paradise, driving in limousine. Everything is nice and clean.
The old people said, daughters back loudest a yard. Assemblyman George could talk because in their yard. Brothers and sisters, you know, Assemblyman George spoke about food security. And we as Tobagonians know the pinch we feel in our pockets when we go to the supermarket. But the greatest joke I had since the campaigning for this election has begun, who boasted that he has been a member of parliament for about 11 years. He's like Rip Van Winkle. He has just gotten up out of deep slumber and is now saying to us he now understands that $500 can't buy nothing. He suddenly knows that an 85-gram pack of curry is $12. Now that he's Prime Minister, now that he's Prime excuse himself from Keith Christopher Rowley. He was a part of that administration. He sat in cabinet. How he know that things had no, you see, probably those politicians. At this time, entertainment. Welcome from Tobago East, Splinter, to tell us about balance.
Nazi. What balance? Election, we are vote TPP here with them down. Them other parties must be gone mad. Deep down in the earth we anchor. Election, we are vote TPP here with them down. Them hey, yo, big up some more, big up not say yeah. Check me IG, we too real, yo, check me IG. The whole of Tobago a TPP. Pull up. DJ, run the track, not the TV. It's on, it's on. I want your bunks. Big up Tomo, big up Nazi, big up Fali. Yeah, say Tomo, Nazi, Tomo, Nazi, Tomo. Election, we are voting TPP, election. Them other parties must be gone mad. Deep down in the earth where we anchor. Election, we are voting TPP, election. Them other parties must be gone mad. Low. TPP, what we say? Afalia, what we say? Rest of them, they surprise with money. Oh, big up Tomo, big up not say, yeah. Check we IG. We too real, yo, check we IG. The whole of Tobago is TPP. Wait. Election, we are voting TPP, we strong bad. Stop the actor. We are voting TPP, we strong bad. Them one job. If you me have a vote, we fed up on the promises, we can't take it no more. And they can't take it no more. Pull up. Big up TPP. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor. One more time for the people and them. One more time for Nazi. One more time for Tomo. Sorry. Pick up all the candidates of TPP tonight. We want balance. All the ghetto youth that want balance. Balance the thing, no man. We have a balance. 60,000 strong. What's balance? Dance. Election. We are voting TPP and we strong balance. All parties must be deep down in the old we anchor. Election, we are voting TPP and we strong bad. The favorite part, yeah, the favorite part now. What you sing? TPP, what we say? Afalia, what we say? One of them just surprise with money. Yo, big up Tomo, big up not say yeah. Check we IG, we too real, yo, check we IG. The whole of Tobago is TPP. The right choice, yes, for the country. Thank you. One more time, that's a one more time, right? We don't mind that. Election! What we say? Election! We have to flag them. Listen, 60,000 when we come out of the barrel. 60,000 when we come out of the barrel. 60,000 when we come out of the barrel. We want balance. Election, we are voting TPP and we strong bad. Them other parties must be gone mad. Deep down in the earth with the young. Election, we are voting TPP and we strong bad. Them other a bribe with money. Yo, big up Tomo, big up not say ya here. Check me IG. We too real, yo, check we IG. The whole of Tobago is TPP. That's the right choice for the country, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Splendor! Balance. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want you to sit here thirsty and hungry. There are refreshments on sale. Please patronize. Additionally, let me inform you that the meeting that was scheduled for Castara for tomorrow night has been postponed. So our next meeting will be in Goodwood. We're going up by Megan on Thursday at Cambridge Junction. So all roads lead to Tobago East on Thursday. Don't forget, don't journey to Castara tomorrow. The Secretary for Education has asked that there be a noise-free period, 24-hour period, as we pray and we bless our young ones who are writing their C exam on Thursday. Music, Mr. DJ.
Let me get money together. Come out to the team, I'm ready to the team. Spend and go and rub it all over. Let me get money together. Come out to the team,
Canaan,
ready to the team.
come to the fore, Canaan. Bonaccord, Crown Point, Bethel, Newgrange. Come on, Mount Pleasant, Lambo, Lawrence, Signal Hill, Patience Hill, Plymouth, Bethesda, Golden Lane, Lecanto, Wim, Darren Spring. Come forward, Lower Scarborough. Come forward, people of Tobago West. Come forward.
Come out to the team.
Let us see how we are going to touch our finger on April 28th for Joel Marcus Sampson. We are putting our X next to the anchor. We are taking Joel into the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, we touch it with finger.
Come out to the team.
Let me see your voting finger for Joel Marcus Sampson. Tobago West, show yourself. We got dirty with finger. Joel Marcus Sampson. I bring to the stage now Joel Marcus Sampson, Tobago People's Party.
I'm ready to the team.
Tobago West, we know what we're doing.
Come out to the team. I'm ready.
Yes, Tobago West, we got this covered.
Let me get money together. Come out to the team.
We are sending someone to our national parliament
Come out to the
who will not stand in our parliament. And when there's a bill to discuss Tobago's business, and there is a question from the opposition, I am sure Joel Marcus Sampson will not stand in our parliament and say, nobody lives there. That never happened. Brothers and sisters, coming to us, my candidate, the candidate for Tobago West, my friend, my boy, our next MP for Tobago West. Come and see. Come, Joel Marcus Sampson. Come and talk to us. We welcome you.
They just know my sound. They don't know how far I'm coming from. They don't know my story. They just know my sound. They don't know no far. Oh, them a go like me not hungry before. Oh, them a go like me not stumble before. You want to make it when you're humble before. Crips in a cup and none around me a boy. Oh, them a go like me born in the riches. Oh, them
Good evening, Tobago. Good evening, Tobago. Good evening, 60,000 strong. Good evening, TPP. Allow me to recognize our political leader, the Honorable Farley Chavez Augustine. Allow me to recognize our deputy political leaders, Dr. Faith Brebner, Ms. Natisha Charles Pantin, and Mr. Trevor James. Also allow me to recognize our chairman, Ms. Ann Natasha II, members of the TPP executive, residents of Plymouth, Bethesda, Black Rock and environs, residents of Tobago East, residents of Tobago West, my friend, my brother, my running mate, my partner, David, Thomas, Tomo. Anyone knows me know that I start with either a scripture or a quote. So I'm going to give you a quote tonight. It says, servant leadership is all about putting the needs of others first and empowering them to achieve their goals. As a leader, your success is measured not by your accomplishments, but by the success of those you serve. I am your humble servant, Joel Marcus Sampson, affectionately known as Notsi. For the last 3 years, I have had the honor of walking with you, working beside you, and standing up for you. And tonight, I come before you with a message, a mission, and a mandate. A message that says, Tobago is ready. Let me hear you say, Tobago is ready. A mission to carry your voice from the community streets to the halls of Parliament. A mandate not from a political party, but from you, the people of Tobago West and Tobago East. Because the question before us is no longer, what time do they need? The question is, what did they do with the time they already had? Don't wonder what they might do in 5 more years, if you already know what they did with the last 10, which is nothing. We gave them time. We gave them trust. We gave them every opportunity to represent us with dignity and deliver with courage. And what did we get in return? Let me tell all you what we get in return. Gas and diesel prices. A 7% tax on your online packages. A $1,800 disability grant and no increase in pension. A justice system that stalls. Foreign exchange shortages. Petrochin gone, programs cut, schools and hospitals under strain, families pushed to the limit, and what else? We got blood on the streets, red, just like the party they protect. Crime has spiraled out of control in this country. Every day another murder, another gun, another grieving mother. Trinidad and Tobago recorded its highest number of homicides in history last year. This is not a statistic, it's a crisis. Guns are flooding our borders. Young men are dying in gang wars. Women are afraid to walk the streets. Fathers and mothers live in fear of who is next. And what has this government done? Nothing. No action, no outrage, no plan. Just silence and blood running red through our nation's veins. Let me ask you plainly, is this what Tobago is supposed to become? Because if we continue to send the same voices into Parliament, silent, passive, and unwilling to challenge the status quo, then we are saying we are okay being next. But I say no. Tobago must never become a statistic in someone else's disaster. Tobago must never sit quietly while the rest of the country collapses. We must act now, and we must act for ourselves. Why? Because the people of Tobago we sent to represent us chose to protect their political party instead of protecting Tobago. They operate under a party-first agenda, an agenda that keeps them quiet when they should speak out, passive when they should act,
and more loyal to their party's interests than to the people's needs. But I didn't come here to fit in. I came to rock every boat that has been floating on injustice. Representation is not warming a seat. It's about standing in the gap. It's about being anchored in the people, rooted in your needs, guided by your truth. That's what the Tobago First agenda is all about. Putting the people of Tobago before any party or political boss. And let me say this clearly. The Tobago First agenda is not just about better representation. It's about advancing Tobago's right to govern itself. It's about building the framework for real autonomy. It's about ensuring that this island, this proud, capable, determined island, can make decisions for its own, manage its own affairs, and take control of its own destiny. We cannot talk about Tobago first if we are afraid to talk about Tobago's right to self-determination. And I am not afraid. I will speak to it, I will push for it, I will stand for it. Friends, colleagues, fellow citizens, I want to speak directly now to the URP workers, the builders, the caretakers, the ones who maintain the foundations of this island, yet were always treated as invisible. For too long, URP meant undervalued, underpaid, and overlooked. But under my watch, that changed. We delivered an almost 100% salary increase for URP workers. Not a promise, a fact. We introduced paid vacation leave because rest is not a luxury, it's a right. We introduced paid sick leave because your health should never come at the cost of your family's stability. These were not favors. They were long overdue recognitions of your worth. And I am here to tell you, those same principles would go with me when I walk into that parliament. Because I believe in a Trinidad and Tobago where the working class stands tall, where every citizen can build a future with dignity, where your labor is not just acknowledged, but respected. Now I've heard the foolish rhetoric. Not see he's a newbie, not see he's an outcome, he's not ready for parliament. Let's be honest. Every politician in parliament today started somewhere. And some of them started a long time ago and stayed too long doing too little. So yes, I may be new to the national space, but I am not new to leadership. I am not new to accountability. And I am not definitely new to getting tipped. Stand with me. If you are tired of being disrespected, walk with me. If you are tired of being forgotten, vote with me. Because this time, we are not waiting, we are lifting the anchor. Tobago is a great ship, strong. We have been anchored in shallow waters, stuck still, going nowhere, because the people steering were too afraid to move. But we have found our captain, and I want to honor Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Agustin. The man who steers this vessel we call the Tobago House of Assembly. A man who had the courage to break away from broken systems and chart a bold new course. A man who stood up for Tobago when others bowed down to party. But even the strongest captain needs a second in command. Someone to carry the vision across the waters. Someone to plant the Tobago flag firmly in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago West, I am ready to be that second in command. I am ready to lift the anchor and sail directly to Port of Spain, not to blend in, but to speak out, not to follow, but to lead. I am Joel Nutsi Sampson. I have served you. I have delivered for you. And now I am ready to represent you, not as a servant of any political organization, but as a servant of the people who sent me. The anchor is up. The course is set. Now let's sail together towards a future where Tobago leads, not follows. Because this moment is bigger than politics. It's about mindset. It's about freedom. It's about breaking every chain of doubt, dependency, and a fear that's held us back for too long. And so, as we lift this anchor and chart our own course, I leave you with the words of Bob Marley. Words that are not just lyrics, but a call to action. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. So come the 28th of April, before the first cock crow, leave your house, carry your granny, carry your auntie, carry your mommy, carry your brother, carry your dog, and head out to the polls, and ram the X by the anchor. Ram it right in. Make sure when you ram it in, ram right in. And we shall become the greatest island on the planet. Ram the X for David Tomo Thomas. Ram the X by Joel Marcus Sampson. And we shall achieve greatness. We shall achieve our freedom. And we shall become the greatest little island on the planet. I thank you.
Gentlemen, you are not going to see Nazi on the ballot paper. Joel Marcus Sampson, 174 Teak Avenue, Milford Court, Bonacord, Tobago. Occupation, plumber. The anchor, and you put your X on the right of the anchor. It's not going to be in blue, there would be no color, it would be in black and white. It would be the second to last symbol on the ballot paper, Tobago West. The second to last. So please do like Pink Panther and screech until you come down to the second to last one, the anchor. Place your X next to the anchor. Let us send an eloquent speaker. One who, you know, I looked at one of the candidates in this race and the posture was, I hear them talking about going down to fight. But you don't go to fight. You go to parliament and you debate with class and decency. You have to do that when you have to toe party lines and you cannot agree with anything else that goes against the vein of your party dictate. We are sending two people who will stand for Tobago and nothing else. So don't tell me about decency and class. We're not going to be disruptive. We are not going to be vulgar and vile. Look at the two gentlemen. No vulgar and vile behavior. But their posture would be one of strength. They are carrying the weight of 60,000 persons on their backs. They know the things that Tobago needs. You tell me a candidate talks about Studley Park under new management. And Studley Park, you don't see truckers lining up outside Studley Park because Studley Park workers, they are working well now. And Studley Park, we can export what is being mined there and so on. But that same candidate sat in cabinet, sat in parliament, and when a request was made to the relevant ministry for an export license for the same quarry, it was refused. And this same body is a part of the administration administration that want to stranglehold the quarry and say we got to pay fees. When she come to you in Tobago, East tells she when she could bring the export license for the quarry, she could get your vote. When she could impress upon her colleagues to obey the 5th scheduled items in the THA Act, she could get your vote. Don't tell me about the worth of our quarry and what it could mean to the revenue stream of the THA. And you sit down. You sat there and know very well that they refused Tobago an export license. You want to hold us to ransom for fees. That ain't happening in this election. You cannot stand with Tobago outside for you. Just move and let people with Tobago's interests at heart move Tobago. Tobago East. When she climbed the hill, because it seemed as though she could climb hill without panting. When she climbed the hill and she comes to the terrain, tell her, you and your colleagues said nobody no live here. All you said nobody no live here. So if nobody no live here, where you go? Where you go? It's only tomorrow to climb this hill in Tobago East. I'm only coming out of my house and going to the polling station because at tomorrow you say nobody no live here. And in Tobago West, we have more flat land. When they come, tell them you was in charge. You didn't deal. You said, let me deal with you and your party being in charge. And for 10 years, and in her case it's 15 because she was a senator for 5 years before. So for 15 years, you say, let me deal with it all, you're in charge. And when you look at the state of Tobago development, I don't know what I was in charge of. I don't know what I was in charge of. So let her enjoy her last 2 weeks and say, we live here. Joel is somebody. He lives here. And he's the one we know. And therefore, let Tobago be anchored in peace. Let Tobago be anchored in peace. Brothers and sisters, I'm bringing the man who could sing. The man who could sing well. Assemblyman, Terence Baines, come and tell me where you had the trouble. Come, Assemblyman, Terence Baines.
Give them the anchor, give them. We go give them the anchor, give them. Give them.
TPP people!
We go give them the anchor.
TPP people! Bring up the volume on the thing, man.
The anchor was.
Bring up the music, man. Bring up the music.
The anchor was.
This election will be problems. They gonna need protection, cause it's licks for all of them. The TPP, we are ready. We looking for victory. We Tomo and not see. It's trouble. It's trouble. It's trouble.
The anchor holds. The anchor holds.
The anchor hold. It's licks up in Charlottesville and all down in Patience Hill. When we reach Castara,
only way to Patience Hill.
When we reach Castara, TPP take over.
Go and tell Shamfa. Make sure you call Ayana.
All you believe is trouble on the 20th? Do you all believe it will be trouble on the 20th? Well, all you others do is just say it's trouble. Let it go, Mr. DJ.
Give them the anchor, give them.
Say, give them the anchor.
Give them.
And we go give them the anchor.
Give them. We go give them the anchor. The anchor holds, the anchor holds, the anchor holds, the anchor holds. This election go be problems, they will need protection, cause it's like small of them. The TPP, we able and ready, we looking for victory, we Tomo and not see. It's trouble, it's trouble, it's trouble. Somebody said the alcohol. It's licks up in Charlottesville, only way to Patience Hill. When you read Castara, TPP take over. Go and tell Shamfa, make sure you tell Ayana, with me voting finger, the time will be over. It's trouble, it's trouble, it's trouble. Give them the anchor, give them. We go give them the anchor, give them. We go give them the anchor, give them. We go give them the anchor. Hey, hey. On election morning, when the stocks start growing, it's time to be moving, cause it's time for voting. And when you see the paper, become a blue warrior. Make you don't stagger, jam the X by the anchor. It's trouble, it's trouble, it's trouble. The anchor holds, say the anchor holds, the anchor holds, the anchor holds. We have an anchor, a blue anchor. Say we have an anchor, a blue anchor. Somebody get ready to anchor them on the 20th. Go give them the anchor, give them. Give them the anchor, give them. We go give them the anchor. This is the season to vote with a reason. Don't forget Kid Rowley, and the name he call we. On the election day, all we must make him pay. Too much pressure, so we kicking out this slave master. It's trouble, it's trouble, it's trouble, it's trouble. The anchor holds, say the anchor holds, the anchor holds, the anchor holds. In Tobago East they say they voted Tomo up there, and when you come down in the West, with no teas, no contest, today no gone blue. Listen what I'm telling you, and the night of the 28th, TPP will celebrate. It's trouble. Give them the anchor, give them. We go give them the anchor, give them. Give them the anchor, give them. And we go give them the anchor. The anchor hold. Say, the anchor hold. The anchor hold. The anchor hold. God bless you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Baines. Supporters, brothers and sisters, the anchor what? What is the symbol? The anchor. That's the symbol. Who we voting for in the East? David Joseph Thomas. You're not going to see Tomo on the ballot. And people in the West, who we voting for? Joel Marcus Sampson. Not see. Let me remind you that there's some merch also on sale in the back. Please patronize. Remember, our next meeting is on Thursday, 6 p.m. We're going up by Megan. Cambridge Junction at Goodwood. our next meeting. The meeting that was previously carded for Castara for tomorrow night has been postponed. You will be informed when we meet in Castara. Brothers and sisters, we are where the air is red. Stand with me. Let me get a good TPP welcome for the political leader of the Tobago People's Party, the Honorable Fali Chavez Agustin, political leader.
I'm holding on in order to stay around in a life there be balance. For it is nature's way until judgment day. Weakness ain't got a chance. Playing some cause I realize the fight little one must pay to keep the big one in paradise. It's torment and misery all day. Destruction of the weak is nature's plan. The humble and the meek must understand. This day of the strong man is the devil's heyday. So they will right the ground when the master plays.
TPP family, Tobago People's Party. Plymouth look nice tonight. From the look of things in Plymouth tonight, it looks as if we have already won the election. But we have work to do. We have about 2.5 weeks again to go. And right now we're just pressing gas, and we are not going to stop until April 28th, when we are able to finally rid ourselves of a very oppressive government and wash this island blue again. TPP family, good night. Allow me tonight to recognize Madam Chairman, Deputy Political Leaders, Dr. Bremner, Mrs. Pantin, and Mr. James. And of course, I want to especially recognize tonight our two candidates joining us all the way in this far into Tobago West, coming from Tobago East. We have David, Joseph, Thomas. And then you just heard from your candidate for Tobago West, none other than Joel Marcus Sampson. Let's hear it for Joel Marcus Sampson. Let me acknowledge the beautiful people from the village of Plymouth. Come on, Plymouth people, make some noise. Bethesda people, make some noise. Lekoto, Golden Lady, for here, make some noise. Yes, thank you very much. You know, Plymouth is an interestingly beautiful place because Plymouth is one of those parts of Tobago where we continue to see etched in our architecture and infrastructure relics of our history and Tobago's resilience, Tobago's fighter spirit. And there is nothing, I think, more powerful than the people from Barrick. So all the Barrick people, make some noise. Now, on my way here, I heard the unfortunate news, and this is absolutely not news that we are going to celebrate, but it is news that for every political organization, every non-governmental organization, every faith-based organization, every parent, every child must actually pay attention to. We heard the unfortunate news that as of right now, the Dragon gas deal is dead. And it is so unfortunate that for us, we live in a part of the world where other countries bigger than we are, can actually determine our prosperity and our future. And that another country, being sovereign and separate and independent from us, can determine whether or not we can enter into an arrangement with another neighboring country. But whether we like it or not, that's just the way the world swings. In Tobago, we say, donkey said the world not level. And certainly in the world we live in, small island territories like Trinidad and Tobago are at the mercies of the metropolitan countries up north. And we simply have to get along and hope for the best. But this is critical news for every political organization in this election, because the next 5 years will be absolutely important for us as a people. Important because the next 5 years, we have to get all of our sums correct. The maths must match for the next 5 years, because we are at the brink whereby we had a PNM government through to poor management, poor fiscal management, poor social infrastructure and investment has left us at the mercy of what is happening in the global space. And so the next 5 years are important. In some ways, I'm starting to feel as though this has eerie similarities to 1986. Because in 1986, when the country rose up and voted out the PNM, it was a little late. Because by then, oil and gas prices were at an all-time low. We were in significant deficit as a country. And the then NAR government had to figure out a way to govern with unemployment rising, having to give people VSEP, lay people off, and we all know the story. Several measures had to be taken place between 86 and 91, including the VAT that we still pay today, including the Alien Land Holding Act as a way of driving up foreign direct investment. And so if ever as a country, it is abundantly clear that we need to diversify our economy is now. That as a country, we cannot continue to keep all of our eggs in one basket and hope for the best. That we have to grow an economy that is larger than just oil and gas outputs. That we have to look at other areas which Trinidad and Tobago has a competitive advantage. And tonight, I want to begin to talk to you about what Joel Sampson and David Thomas must go to central government to do. Because the policies that we make from here on are critical in ensuring our survival as a country. But this one thing I'm confident of is that God has always had the backs of Trinidad and Tobagonians everywhere. And that even when it seems as though we are going to our lowest, God has a way of lifting us up out of that pit. And don't take it for granted that this organization that we have, the Tobago People's Party, is a part of God's plan in ensuring that we can lift this country up out of the doldrums. And so, Joel Sampson, your candidate for Tobago West, David Thomas, your candidate for Tobago East, must join with their other colleagues, 39 colleagues in the parliament, in ensuring that we diversify this economy to the extent that oil and gas is not the sole breadwinner of the country. So what are some of those other competitive advantages that we do have? Number one, we have the best grade of cocoa anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. It is no secret that other countries and companies purchase our cocoa to mix with commodity grade cocoa so that it will get that rich flavor that we have. When we look at the economic value of cocoa as an agricultural crop, perhaps there might only be 2 other crops, agricultural crops, that are more valuable. And those are the cocaine plant and marijuana. And we know about the illegalities of those. But so far as legal agricultural crops are concerned, cocoa is among the most important. And I cannot understand for the life of me how as a country we have that golden opportunity to really produce high quality cocoa beans to sell to the rest of the world, and we are underproducing it. It means that we have to get back to all of those cocoa estates, trim off all of the mistletoes, prune the trees, get the cocoa beans going again, produce it and sell them to the rest of the world. And that is why here in Tobago, your Tobago House of Assembly has started. We went to Charlottesville, got permission from Pat Turpin, and we cleared hundreds of acres of land, trained the young people, and got them to plant fresh cocoa trees. This administration did that. We have entered into arrangements with a chocolatier in how we can get Le Estate producing cocoa again. We're cleaning up the cocoa estate in Louis d'Or. But we have to do more than that. We have to now do that on a national level in order to drive alternatives to oil and gas, because we cannot depend on oil and gas as our only sustenance. We have to do more than that. When Joel Sampson in the West and David Thomas in the East, when they go to the national parliament, they are going there understanding that Tobago has a natural competitive advantage for the entire country, and that is tourism. Nowhere nice like we, no part of the country as beautiful as we, no part of the country as peaceful as we, no part of the country has nice beaches like we, no part of the country have coral reef gardens as resplendent as we do. And so if tourism is a natural competitive advantage for the country, using Tobago as the access point, then we absolutely have to ensure that the tourism product in Tobago is developed and developed well. And so Joel in the West, David in the East, they have to go to the national parliament and remind them in the national parliament that they have to invest in Tobago's tourism if it is the country have to truly diversify from oil and gas. And investing in our product means that when the Tobago House of Assembly makes the request of the Minister of Finance to fund the marketing operations over at TTAL and our tourism department, that it is actually supported. Because let me tell you something you don't know. By the time TTAL don't pay for those 2 flights and pay salaries, it's only scrums that are left to actually market the island. People walking about this place talking about competing with Barbados and Grenada. We don't even spend a quarter of what they spend on marketing their island, but we want the same results. And then when we ask for the funding, they turn up their nose and then they send a minority leader that don't know his head from his foot to behave as though what we have is enough. When truly, if we are to develop this product, the country as a whole must see our tourism product as being important. And that goes beyond just bringing a Sanders resort here. The actual product must be developed, and that costs something. And so Joel and David, their role in the parliament must be to advocate for that natural competitive advantage that Tobago has, in ensuring that Tobagonians can actually help the country out at this time. If our tourism product was where it should have been, because some people spent 21 years here and all now are looking for what they're doing in tourism and can't find it. All now are looking to see how they develop the place. 21 years here they spent, and when they drive around the island, scarcity of public toilets. 21 years, you look at all of our major tourism spots, and you can't find proper development on them, on the forts, on our lookouts, and our points of interest. And I'm saying to you that after 21 years that the cankerworm and locust stole from us, it is time for us to restore some dignity to this island called Tobago. And it is time for us to get our tourism product going again. One of the ways to do that is indeed to attract foreign direct investment. And I know that at one point somebody sat down in Trinidad. In fact, not even Trinidad. We were told that somebody was playing golf with a businessman, and he decided on behalf of the whole island of Tobago where Sanders going. Well, that's not how our democracy works. The democracy that I am the head of in Tobago, we operate based on the voices and opinions of the people of Tobago. And so what they attempted to do is that they wanted to build this large hotel and then invite a private operator to come and operate it. It was a bad economic plan that lacked transparency. But there is a need for foreign direct investment. And so Tobago and Tobagonians, I am saying to you, who you are out here in your hundreds and thousands tonight, I am saying to you, without a doubt, if our economy as a country has to grow, for us in Tobago, we have to do our part by ensuring we develop our tourism product. And let me be clear with you, once I am Chief Secretary, once the Tobago People's Party is in charge here, you will not lose your dignity, you will not lose your sanity, and you will not lose access to precious commodities that are yours. So you will never find under our leadership that beaches are not accessible to you, that you are locked out, that you don't have access. That's not the kind of tourism I'm talking about. So you don't need to be fearful of foreign direct investment. We have to welcome it. As a matter of fact, it was a PNM Chief Secretary who wrote to a PNM Prime Minister and said that we should institute a land license regime for Tobago. So for foreign investors, they are catching their skin to get permission to even lease a piece of property in Tobago to develop anything. No wonder we have not had any significant foreign direct investments for more than 20 years on this island. Hilton tried, and you know how that went. But in Hilton's case, it was the government who built the hotel, not Hilton. So when Hilton was fed up, Hilton just packed their bags and go. They had no real skin in the game, so to speak. And so in us encouraging foreign direct investments, we are saying through Joel Sampson and David Thomas that we need to reverse that land license regime and allow the agencies of states such as Tonga Country Planning and EMA and all those responsible for spatial planning on the island to dictate where the investments go and to control the market and to control market prices. The land license regime does not help because it takes inordinately long for any foreign investor to actually get a yes or even a no or even a maybe on whether or not they can invest in Tobago. So that's the first thing we have to treat with. The second thing is we have to encourage, yes, indeed encourage foreign brands to be here, because they have made the point over and over again that a rising tide lifts all boats. Now, what they were proposing to do in the past really wasn't going to lift all boats. It was going to lift the boats of a few big belly men who feel smart and who set up themselves to earn. What we want is an arrangement when the FDIs come here, every single Tobagonian have an equal opportunity to benefit from such foreign direct investment. And so, encouraging FDIs in this space is something my administration has done. As a matter of fact, within the first month in office, I took a team to Trinidad, sat down at the bricks, met with the owners of the Marriott that they want to build across in back Bay. I brought them up to Tobago to meet with all of the stakeholders. And I have said to them, when you are finished with your designs, ensure your designs meet all the environmental codes. And once they meet the environmental codes, I will help champion your project. But if it doesn't meet the environmental codes, if it does not respect the historical fort there, if it does not respect the surfers in the area, you can't give me support. But in principle, nothing is wrong with them building a Marriott here. If we go up to Roxborough, right now you see construction has accelerated just opposite the Renaissance in Roxborough. And what you may not know, and I'll say it here for the first time, on my last visit to New York, I met with the principals of that development, Elephant Tree as it is called. And at that time, I did not have an okay to announce it, but I'm told it's okay for me to announce it now. That the Elephant Tree project is being picked up by Hilton Hotel and will be branded as a Hilton Tapestry. And so we can welcome back the Hilton Hotel to Tobago, up in Tobago East, right there in Roxborough, because that will be the first international branded hotel in Tobago East. And that is happening under a TPP government. And the final point I'll make about this, because we met earlier this week with the owner and managers or directors of Sanders Resorts. And it was a very good meeting. And one of the things we have pledged to do is that post the election on April 28th, that we are going to continue the conversation. We have also pledged, and I led the Tobagonians in the room in signing and agreeing that we are going to invite Sanders back to Tobago to have the discussions with the people of Tobago and to work out what the arrangement is. And we are starting brand new, so we are not going based on the old agreements, but we are going to try to hammer out a new agreement once Sanders agrees to return. That for me is a fair position to take on behalf of the people of Tobago. But all in all, we have to drive our tourism sector. And so let's move to the new airport, because we built a new airport, and my biggest concern is whether or not we are doing enough to attract the flights to that airport. We are told that that airport can accommodate some 3 million passengers across a year. To accommodate that amount of passengers, we need the international flights. As you may not be aware, but Civil Aviation Authority and air services agreements are not done by the Tobago House of Assembly. We negotiate with airlines, but then we are dependent on somebody down in Trinidad to say yes or no about whether or not a plane can actually land in Tobago. So when they're comparing us with Grenada, note that the government in Grenada could sign on the dotted line any given day of any week and accept any airline from anywhere in the world without needing approval from somebody anywhere else. We can't do that in Tobago. That's why Joel Sampson in the west and David Thomas in the east must go down to the parliament and broker the autonomy deal for the people of Tobago. Because unless we get that autonomy, we will never be able to truly maximize our potential. And tonight I want to say to my Trinidadian family members, to the Tobagonians down in Trinidad, and we know we are down there in larger numbers than we are on this island. The truth is, autonomy for Tobago benefits the entire country of Trinidad and Tobago. It's not just for the benefit of Tobagonians, because a more empowered Tobago means that we have a Tobago that is much more economically viable, therefore putting a lot more into the national coffers and benefiting the whole country. If we go back to the days when we were getting 80,000 plus tourists to this island, then perhaps we could help with the forex issue. You wouldn't get problems to get US because we could make US dollars through tourism. And so we have to be very certain in our minds that this fight for autonomy for Tobago is not really just a selfish desire. Yes, it improves our lot, but it actually improves the standing of the entire country that is Trinidad and Tobago. What we got over the last 10 years as autonomy bills were woefully inadequate. They did not pass the litmus test of what is required by the people of Tobago. And they told us for a very long time that if we voted PNM in Tobago and PNM in Trinidad, we will actually get this autonomy. A PNM government in Tobago went around the island, did the consultations, drafted up the documents, passed an assembly bill, sent it down to Parliament, and it is a PNM government in Trinidad that took it, ripped it up, and did their own thing. In other words, PNM Trinidad decided that Tobagonians like you, not smart enough to decide what you want for yourself. But I have news for them. I have news for the other 39 parliamentarians. We are sending 2 warriors down come the 29th of April 2025. It's David Thomas and Joel Sampson. And we are going to prosecute this issue of autonomy. And this is the time that we must get that autonomy. No other time like now. And we are not going there because we don't know what we want. We are not going there because we are not smart. Maybe who they had representing us did not know what Tobagonians want. Maybe who they had representing us were not smart enough. But I have confidence in David Thomas and Joel Sampson that they can articulate wonderfully and correctly the Tobago agenda when it comes to autonomy. And that's why you have to support them. I want you to know that you're not supporting them for them to be part of any majority anywhere. And I know that's the big question. You're going and join up. You're not joining up. Listen, we have suffered enough joining up and breaking away as an opposition movement in Tobago. We're tired. This time around, we're just standing on our own. And there is a reason why your color is the United Nations blue. Because that was the same color assigned to the Democratic Action Congress back in 1976, when we sent Winston Murray and Robinson down to the Parliament to fight for Act 37 of 1980 to bring about the first Tobago House of Assembly. So in a way, this party is about going back to the future. It's about going back to our ideal, because we tried DSC, and that's what brought about the first THA. We ain't joined up with nobody. We tried NAR. NAR did not advance it. We joined with UNC with the 1717-2, and we got Act 40 of 1996. And I'm saying, for the final and best iteration of the Tobago House of Assembly, we are going this alone. We are standing alone as 60,000 strong, because we are confident with 60,000 of you behind us, that we will actually advance our agenda once and for all. You must understand, and tonight I'm talking to you, but I'm really talking to my Trinidadian friends and family. You must understand the history that brought us to this place. It was not a kind history. It was not one that Tobagonians approved of, nor was it one that Trinidadians approved of. Our history is one where somebody wake up in England one day and decided Tobago have too much powers. Let me cut that back. And they cut it back and say, look, go on, become a ward of Trinidad. Trinidad didn't war we, and we didn't war Trinidad. But guess what? Sometimes God, through accident, does make beautiful things happen. And notwithstanding that accident of colonialism, we now have a beautiful country called Trinidad and Tobago. And our fight ever since has been that the and Tobago part be recognized as equal to the Trinidad part, so that we can build out a country that is fair, that is just, that is equal in share for every single citizen, including the 60,000 strong on this 116 square miles. This is not an agenda of hate. This is a pro-Tobago campaign. It's not an anti-Trini campaign. In fact, it's not even an anti-PNM campaign. By just nature itself, this being a pro-Tobago campaign becomes an anti-PNM campaign, because PNM never really cared about Tobago. PNM never really wanted Tobago. PNM never even wanted us to even get a Tobago House of Assembly in the first place. So they will never fight for Tobago. That's why we must get up in our blue and walk the streets for the next 2.5 weeks and ensure we get everybody out to vote. This election is critical. All the polls suggest that Tobago will become the deciding factor. I want you to ask yourself, who is better to negotiate on behalf of Tobago? A Shamfa and Ayana in a cabinet, or a David Thomas and a Joel Sampson outside of a cabinet, wielding our two most powerful seats in ensuring that Tobago get what it wants? We have to be smart and strategic with our vote. This is not the wrongs to make a mistake. We made a mistake for 10 consecutive years. That is no longer a mistake. That is a bad habit that we have to get rid of. And we are going to purge ourselves of the bad habit tonight. And I understand that to the back of us here is a cemetery. So that might be a good place to bury the PNM once and for all. Bury them with no hope of a resurrection. Because my Bible tells me that that which is wicked will not even rise again in the first resurrection. They will not see heaven. So we need to bury them with no hope of a political resurrection and purge this island. Now is the time for us to wash away all the blood and red from on the ground and wash the island blue. This is about a blue wave. This is about a blue tsunami that is about to take this 116 square miles from Charlottesville in the northeast to Crown Point all in the southwest, to Palatovia in the north, crisscross to Stolly Park in the south. We are saying this blue wave must envelop and cover the entire island. It is time to baptize this island in blue so that we can be born again, so that we can send David Thomas and send Joel Sampson down to the parliament and ensure that they hammer out for us the best deal for the people of Tobago. This is not a personal agenda. And let me tell you how much this is not a personal agenda. I am the political leader of this party. And if I wanted, I could have seen a political opportunity. And I could have decided that I will go and run myself so I could go down to the parliament. But this is not a Farley show. It's not about Farley glory. It's about Tobago. And so we decide I will stay in Tobago. All three of our deputy political leaders will stay in Tobago. And we will send 2 freshmen who have strength and who have vigor, who will go down and fight for us. And I want to assure them on your behalf, Mr. David Thomas, that good Speyside food has caused the belly to round a bit. But that does not stop your vigor. Because if they understand men who live country, whether we thin, whether we fat, whether we in between, we are always strong enough and ready for any fight. The amount of fish you and rockfish you eat, and eating when the day come, that Patricia cooking for you, I know you have what it takes to stand there, your shoulders broad enough, and you will go down and fight on our behalf, Mr. Thomas. And Joel Sampson, I know you never saw for yourself what you see today. And that's the beauty about the island that Tobago People's Party lead. Because this is a party where people can actually self-actualize on the island of Tobago. Joel Sampson, you don't even realize that higher than the highest human thoughts can reach is God's ideal for you, brother. And that what God set out for you is bigger than you imagine for yourself. I am sure you never thought the day will come that you will be a candidate to represent all of Tobago West. I am sure you never thought that while you were down in those holes, digging and fixing pipes on behalf of Wassa, that there will come a day you will stand on behalf of Tobago West to fix our autonomy issue down in the National Parliament. We have no fear. You are accustomed to going down into holes to fix things. And Trinidad and Tobago is in a hole right now. We need a man who could go down into that hole and make some fixes on behalf of the people of Tobago. And Joel Sampson in the west, David Thomas in the east, we will fix it. Let me warn you, Plymouth, the fixes won't be easy. We may not be able to fix it all in the 5 years of a parliamentary term. But as a country, we need to start. We have to start taking some hard decisions. Because what I see happening in Port of Spain, that's not sanity. As David Rudder said, that is madness. There is not even a fet in there. It is madness. And that madness has to be corrected. But what we understand in Tobago is that sometimes you don't really need to have a majority to win. They talk us, they talk about how small we are, they ridicule us, they push us down, they ignore our voices, they relegate our voices to just rah-rah and unintelligent songs. But watch the 60,000 strong come April 28th. If it is our rah-rahing was so annoying to you, why are you even running in this election? If our opinions were not valid enough for you to consider, whether it be about Sanders or an airport, why are you running in this election? Leave Tobago to Tobagonians alone. If you think we are so dumb, leave us alone. Because we are confident that our 60,000 strong, as small as we might be, is powerful enough to resurrect this entire country, to save this entire country, and to ensure that Trinidad and Tobago sees a brighter day. And so, Plymouth, you have always been, Plymouth, one of the capitals of our autonomy movement. It is not so far from here. Once upon a time, now deceased Member of Parliament for Tobago West, Mr. Winston Murray, used to come when the daytime come and raise a flag in Plymouth to symbolize Tobago's independence. People said Winston Murray was mad. People say Zorisha's grandfather was crazy and an Obia man. People say that those who were with them didn't know what they were doing. But what I saw were people who were so confident in the castles of their skin as Tobagonians that they were willing to say, we will stand up for Tobago. We will stand for Tobago that is much more autonomous, because the only way Tobago will see a brighter day is when we have an autonomous Tobago. Plymouth, you facilitated that, Plymouth, which tells me that this village, this community is made up of revolutionaries. And we don't want that revolutionary spirit to die. Now it must be awoken. Now we must go and talk to every youth man on the block. all the dreadheads are wrong. Those, when the day comes, just doing this. We have to go and talk to every one of our young people to let them know that they too are a part of this fight and that their job is not to sit back and watch the politics play off and hope for the best. That they have an integral interest in ensuring that we select the two best candidates for this country, for this island and country. And I am confident none of the other candidates are better than ours. I am confident that no indigenous Tobago party has what we have. I am confident that the winds of change are behind us. And I'm saying that which we started in 2021 must continue on April 28, 2025. The fixing ain't done yet. I want to encourage you before I go that now is not the time to lose hope. Because sometimes when you're fixing a thing, it takes a very long time. Sometimes it takes a whole lot of your energies. I could tell you, I went to work this morning and I spent the whole day in meetings, not pointless meetings, but meeting after meeting after meeting. And so it is almost every day, coming home at the end of the day, not even having lunch or having a cup of tea. Why? Because there's so much work to be done. And I want you to not lose hope, Tobago. It's important that you understand that fixing is dirty work. That when you're fixing things, sometimes some things will work and some will not work. But you have to press ahead. I want to tell you, Tobago, that we are 4 years better off than we were 4 years ago. I want to tell you, Tobago, that you have an administration that has worked in your benefit. And this party was built out not by accident but by providence. Because that which they meant for evil turned for good. And God knows, maybe we needed to shed the darkness of the black and come into the bright sunlit blue and wash this island pure again. And so we are going to put in the work this election, Plymouth. Plymouth, now is not the time to fall asleep at the wheels. If you put your shoulders to the wheel and turn again and turn your back, then you're not fit for this journey. But we are 60,000 strong. 60,000 strong means that we have what it takes to do this. That we could go, two of us, Samson and Thomas, and begin a massive change in the national parliament. All it takes is one drop. One drop to have a ripple effect. One drop in the pond in Port of Spain to ensure that we begin to change. This country is at a crossroad. The Prime Minister told us about how expensive grocery is. I am not sure he knows, because I am sure he probably can't tell the last time he went to the supermarket. But I know I go to the supermarket almost every week. Ask any of them. Ask Tobago people. There are Simming cost cutters, penny savers, the two Chinese supermarket cards. They'll see me everywhere. In the fruit stall, buying my own grocery with my own money. And I could tell you for a fact that the cost of living is astronomical. Too many of our people can't afford. And so for the next 5 years, David and Joel, they have to insist on social investments. They have to insist that our mothers get the care. They have to insist that the Tobago House of Assembly gets the requisite budgetary allocation to fix the Tobago people's problems. They have to insist that we could actually build out a better country than the one we have. And given how God has blessed us, there is no reason why any other Caribbean country should be above us. It meant that as a country, we have had far too many failures. But the correcting starts now. This is a new generation. We have Joshua and Caleb, aka David, Thomas, and Joel Samson, who are going to go down into the promised land, conquer some giants for us, and ensure that all citizens can feed from the milk and honey that God has blessed this country with. And so, over the next 2 weeks, we are going to continue to pound the streets. We are going to go on every block corner. We are going to knock on every door. We are not about the big fancy campaign up in the sky. We are going to talk to you on the ground wherever you are, because we need your vote. We need you to come out. You cannot be undecided at this time. You cannot be undecided when we are at the mercies of global push and pull factors when it comes to our economy. You cannot be undecided when as a country we are yet to properly figure out how we diversify our economy. You cannot be undecided when the price of grocery going up and the price of oil at the pump go up how much time and you ain't riot yet. You cannot be undecided. Now is your time to riot with your index finger and to vote them out of power, because they did not advance your agenda these last 10 years. Now is the time. I thought once upon a time that I would have been proud to say I had another Tobagonian that was Prime Minister. Now I have to whisper that fact and hope that people don't remember that fact, because he didn't quite live up to the Robinson ideal that we all know. But you see, this party, wearing the same colors that A&R Robinson wore, with the same ideals as A&R Robinson, we are sending David Joseph Thomas in the east and Joel Sampson in the west, and we are confident they will broker the best deals for the people of Tobago. This is about negotiation. This is not about gambling at all. This is not about casting a die. This is not eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This is about going there purposefully with all of our senses intact and our sensibilities in place and voting for the two best candidates. These men shall lead us. I am confident that once they put God in front, He will continue to lead us. And I end by saying to you, Tobago, that yea, though we walk through the valleys of the shadow of death, we will fear no red evil, for God is with us. He is our rod and our staff, meaning that He will direct us, He will correct us, He will point us in the right path. He will walk us along treacherous pathways to ensure we get to where we need to get to. I am confident that with God as our head, we will win. We will win. All of Tobago will win, and they will win by voting for the anchor. And so let's anchor down, because this anchor holds. This anchor can hold us. The country is in stormy times. The ship is rocking to and fro, but anchor down with us, because Jesus is in this vessel. Anchor down with us, because this anchor can hold us safe and secure through the rough economic times we have ahead. Anchor down with us. Come April 28th, we are placing our X by the anchor for David Thomas in the east and Joel Sampson in the west. Great is our God, great is our people, and the people of Tobago, the Tobago People's Party, the people of Tobago will win come this election. Thank you, God's richest blessing, and I love you as always, Tobago. Thank you, Plymouth. You are beautiful tonight. Remember, we have C exam coming up, and we are going to go silent for 24 hours. Please join us as we pray for tonight. On a very sober note, wherever you are, let's bow our heads. And Lord, we thank you for our students who are going to the exam on Thursday morning. We pray that tomorrow, their preparation day, all things fall into place. That every pupil at this point have their stationery and everything organized. The Tobago House of Assembly provided for all of them. We pray that you calm their nerves, that you be with the teachers and the parents, that all our pupils are well fed going into the exam, and that they recall to memory all that they have learned from our beautiful and absolutely terrific teachers that we have. We pray to God for success on their behalf, and we uphold them in prayer over the next 48 hours to ensure that their safety and their success are sureties. Thank you, and God's blessings through the name of our Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, political leader, the Honorable Fali Chavez Augustine. Brothers and sisters, thank you for being in Tobago West, for being in the Plymouth Bethesda community. Get home safely. See you at Cambridge Junction, Goodwood, on Thursday at 6 p.m. Remember, the symbol is the anchor. We are going to have Tobago anchored on April 28th. Thank you for being with us. Get to your home safely.
Stems.
Yes, I can hear them saying, boys, stop living in the past. Where can I find that energy, the raw magic that comes down?